leave her alone, Jimmy.
Oh, you zip it, Doris! Rogers Hornsby was my manager, and he called me a talking pile of pig shit. And that was when my parents drove all the way down from Michigan to see me play the game. And did I cry?
No.
No! No! And you know why?
No.
Because there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball!
Oh. Well, one of the first things I want to say before I start talking about special editions and things like that is we buy Blu-rays. Now I've had people ask me, why do you buy Blu-rays? Why are you paying more for Blu-rays? It's just another fad that's going to pass and eventually there's going to be something new. Yeah, there always is. I mean, there already is something new. Now it's all about 3D releases and 4K releases. So why do we buy Blu-ray? Because out of what we can afford, it's the best right now. Now, if something else comes along that's somewhat affordable and becomes somewhat affordable for the masses and is going to be the top tier, will we rebuy everything? I don't know. That'll be a decision that we'll make in the future, but that is the nature of technology and it's the nature of being a collector. Better things come along and you change what you do. Now, if you have to ask the question, why do you buy on Blu-ray versus why do you buy something on Blu-ray versus just buying it on DVD? If you have to actually ask that question, then you're probably never going to actually understand the answer. And that's the best that I can give you. So, we buy Blu-ray. Period. And a decent amount of our time with our collection is finding stuff on Blu-ray that we have on DVD to be able to upgrade, because we eventually want to just have Blu-rays in here, and that's a hard prospect. So, but anyway, let's talk box sets. These are fun, and I've grabbed down a couple of examples, and in my mind there's two or three main reasons to buy a box set of something. And the first one is you want to own the movies in it and it's the only option. And here's my example for that. This is the Chucky box set. In case you can't, there you go, now you can see it. The Child's Play movies have always been some of my favorites. When I heard that they were going to be releasing a new one, I was uber excited. And then when I saw that they were going to be releasing a box set, I was even more excited. Why was I excited about that? Because this is on Blu-ray and it's the only way to get the older Chucky movies, Child's Play movies, on Blu-ray. It's the only option you have. They did not do individual releases of these. They only put out the box set. That's one good reason to go for that. Another reason is it's just easier. And a good example of that one, the Bond box set. If you really want to own all the James Bond movies, yes, you can get them all on individual releases now. This is easier. And it's a little bit cheaper. With what these are listed as now, it's really you're probably only going to be saving like maybe $30 from buying all the individual releases. But if you find it on sale like we did, you're going to be saving about $150, $200, something like that. We found that for a really good price. Plus there's 23 movies. Buy this, you have them all, and they're all in order. It's that simple. Another example of it being easier and a little bit cheaper, the Alien anthology. For movies in here, you know, technically 5 because I think that Alien vs. Predator is in here too. I forgot about that. It's easier. It's cheaper. I picked this up for $28. And the movies themselves are, I think they were at that time running at $15 a piece. It's a lot cheaper. And finally, the last reason to consider box sets is if it's something that you really love and is one of your favorite things, then it's worth spending the money to have it really nice and collected. And my example for that is Lord of the Rings Extended Trilogy Blu-ray. It is a very nice box. Everything's there. Really nice packaging. If you're a fan, sometimes it's worth spending money for stuff. And I'm going to show you another example of that here in a little bit. But those are my arguments for box sets of stuff. And we do have more box sets in here, but these are the ones just that I chose that to show those examples. Next, let's talk about special editions. Alright, now let's talk about the different versions of the same movie that you can buy. Now, this first thing that I'm going to show you is a little bit weird because it's technically a box set, but it's a special release box set, and it's actually my brother's baby, and you've seen it if you've watched one of our other videos, and it's the Harry Potter box set. This is years 1 through 5. It's not the big, Wizards box set. We haven't been able to get that yet. We want to. It's very expensive. But things like that, those are great, but they're not necessities when you're a collector because they're usually very expensive. But if you find if you find something like that for a good price, yes, you pick it up. Now, these are the different types of same movies that are more reasonable. Things like anniversary editions. This is Clockwork Orange and Halloween. You know, these are just anniversary editions. Both of these came with books and a lot of behind the scenes features and things like that. Especially the Clockwork Orange one. This one is a really nicely put together package. Taxi Driver special release also came with a little book and postcards, things like that. These are always really fun. They usually have some pretty cool stuff in them. I know if you watched our We Love the Movies video, we talked about some of these. My brother showed you some pretty cool things. Now, the other versions that aren't like anniversary releases or anything like that, you know, they're simple things like unrated cuts. There's an option. You always get, if there's an option, we always get unrated cuts. Extended editions. This is actually a really good example for extended edition because the extended edition is something like an hour and 10 minutes longer than the original cut. There are director's cuts. This is Natural Born Killers, by the way. These are director's definitive cuts. You know, there are examples of producer's cuts. We don't have any producer's cuts because the only thing I can think of that was a really well-known producer's cut hasn't come out yet. It comes out next month. I'll be picking it up. You know, there are final cuts, extended cuts, just all this different stuff, and it's basically just a way for them to make more money because they hardly ever release any of those things during the first release. That's actually part of the reason why a lot of movies we still have on DVD, because we have either director's or extended cuts, and those things weren't put out for the Blu-ray release. So waiting on that, and whether we'll ever get some of them, we don't know. But there you go. Good example of that. Gone in 60 Seconds, director's cut. This is the remake with Nicolas Cage, obviously. A movie that both me and my brother like a lot. We've never picked it up on Blu-ray because it's not the director's cut, and there's a good amount of extra stuff in it. So there. Now, last thing I want to talk about dealing with special editions per se. Well, I guess technically there are two more, and the other one I can get out of the way really quick right now. Criterion editions. This is my thing, not as much my brother's. I have 6 in total, and these are fun as a collector because these are movies. The reason why Criterions are usually expensive and why they are collector's items is because Criterion Collection, for the most part, are movies that aren't released in any other format. You know, you might be able to find them on DVD, but like most of these you're never going to find on just a plain regular Blu-ray. You go out and you buy the Criterion edition of them, and they are classic movies. They're movies that are really good, and they do a great job putting together a bunch of special features for them, behind the scenes stuff, things like that. This is a collection that I've started just recently, like the past couple of months, really. And so, like I said, I have 6. I'm hoping to get a lot more. And the last thing that I was going to talk about, steelbooks. Alright guys, here is our collection of steelbooks. Now I know I kind of got them bunched up where you can't see them all, but I'm going to show you some of them. Alright. Well, in case you're wondering, we have 40 of them. This is actually the first time I think I've ever counted them. And this one actually started simply enough. I think my brother had already had 1 or 2 when I first moved down here, and we started seeing them. They started coming out a little more often, and we just really liked the idea of the packaging of them. They're really nicely put together, well done, and it kind of started to become a little bit of an obsession for us. You know, we search out steelbooks now. If we see one, we kind of have to pick it up. And there have been some that we've missed because we didn't get it, and it's been regretful. Very regretful. Because some of these are series that we started getting. We have maybe have 1 or 2 on Blu-ray or on Steelbook, and we want to finish them now. Things like Batman. We've got Batman. Batman Returns, and we have all 3 of the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Now, what are we missing in here? Well, Batman Forever. We can't find the Steelbook anywhere. It does exist, but neither one of us feel like paying $50, $60 for it to get it on Amazon. But we're always keeping our eye out for it. Another one. The Resident Evil movies, at least the first 4, I have on Steelbook. And again, what am I missing? Well, the newest one, Retribution. It's out, again. I just don't feel like paying $40 for it because I haven't been able to find it in store yet. You know, and a lot of the rest of these are just random ones that we found. Although there is one other exception that we again regret. Fast and the Furious 1, 5, and 6, all in Steelbook. Now the other ones were released. They did all 4 of them in this style, this kind of comic book style. We missed them when they were all on sale, and Best Buy never got them back. This is the only one that we've been able to find. You know, and that's part of the problem when you're a collector. You see a hole in what you have, and you have to try to find that. If we start buying a movie series, we have to own all of them, with the exception of Batman and Robin. We're never going to buy that piece of crap movie. You know, if we own 1 or 2 of something, we can't just do that. We have to get the rest of them. We have to have all of them because it drives us nuts. It's an OCD thing when you're a collector.